Right, where are we at? This is 10, right?
I think there's 10.
Oh, it's our 10th anniversary.
It went by.
All right.
Went by
Congrats. 10th anniversary edition.
Yeah.
10th episode. Man. Okay.
Took a little break.
You know what it is, right?
A lot happened.
In your face tango moment.
Yeah, for you.
For me. Because I guessed all of those Madison Square Garden fights wrong.
Me and Nas were talking about it. Like, you picked against our guy GSP.
Uh-huh.
And then I think most of us picked Cody to win, so we all got that.
Oh yeah, I thought some of you had.
Maybe Nas picked TJ.
No, not. Maybe he did.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he did.
I thought Cody was gonna win that, but what a night, really.
Well, if you look at it, 30 seconds more, Cody would have won it.
You think so?
In that
with that
first round?
He was rocked. He was walking,
rocked bad.
Yeah.
If Cody would have pounced on him, he would have won.
I get that. Because even when he was walking back to the stool,
Right.
he kind of like buckled.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy.
I have to say that it was one of those nights. Oh, GSP and Bisping was a toss-up. I just figured I'd give Bisping the edge because he's been doing so well.
Yeah.
He's been proving so many of us wrong.
There was no way to know how GSP was going to come back,
Right.
so it's like you can't really confidently pick him.
Right. And then, GSP's been out for 4 years.
Exactly.
Still, you get a little rusty, Plus, you're fighting at a different weight. And from what I understand, not that we knew about it, but he was sick.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
So,
The weight cutting, gaining weight.
yeah.
He
A lot
was
of things
throwing
were
up.
on against him. Not that I knew about it, but I still gave the edge to Bisping because he's kind of been on a win streak lately,
Exactly.
But he got outstruck.
Yeah. I don't know the reach difference, but GSP was dominating.
He got outstruck, he got out wrestled, and he definitely got out jits too.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, he finished off with a beautiful rear naked choke. It must have made John Danaher so happy, because you have a bunch of people in your corner, and your Muay Thai guy or your kickboxing or your boxing guy wants you to knock someone out, and the guy in your corner who's your jits guy wants you to choke someone out or submit someone in any way, or even better, if he would have leg locked him, done one of those Danaher Death Squad leg locks, you know what I mean?
Gordon Ryan, although Gary Tonin.
Yeah. It would have been something else to see that he added, that magic to his game.
Mm-hmm.
But, rear naked choke was perfect. If you guys don't know how to do it right, first step is get that hand above the shoulder right here,
Yeah.
That's it, and the next, if you notice, he just slipped it in. A lot of people do this, which definitely is not a good way. Kids do that, or some people used to do it, decades ago. But the right way to do it is get that hand over the shoulder, slip this in. I like to go in this way.
Yeah.
And then bring it down, and then connect here, because I like to have my hand facing this way, because I get more of
on the back of the head.
Yeah. But there is no big difference considering that you have that huge bump with the glove.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. You're getting that anyway,
Yeah,
So,
similar.
and it was right here. He slips it in, and he just right there. There is always some sort of tension. Your arm never gets broken.
Yeah, that was a brutal one. You could tell it was deep in his neck.
It was deep.
Really deep squeeze.
It was deep. It was under the chin. And even if it wasn't under the chin, when you get it that deep and the chin is in there, you're also kind of like crushing the jaw.
Yeah, he was crushing his neck.
Yeah. You can't always tap someone like that, depending on their, body, their jaw style. But you could crush that jaw nonetheless. And when you're as tired as that, they were tired. They were tired. Both of them were tired.
Yeah.
But okay, so I got everything wrong. I got everything wrong. Not everything, but I got that wrong.
The big fights.
Well, what I did get right. First, let me tap myself on the back. All right. right here, buddy.
Randy Brown?
Randy Brown and Mickey Gall. All right, that I got right. Randy's going to come and join us on the show one of these days real soon. So, actually, I have to give it to Mickey Gall. He lasted longer than I thought he would.
And he kind of came back in the second round.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, you know what it is? I don't know what was in Randy's mind, but I think he was a little upset that this guy was saying that he was, twisting Randy up in training.
Oh, because they trained?
Yeah, they trained.
Okay.
And jiu-jitsu training and MMA training are two totally different things.
Mm-hmm.
And Mickey shouldn't. When you train with someone, you have some sort of bond with them.
Yeah.
You have to respect them. You don't talk shit about them. He's not your enemy. He's not your main threat. You might train with him again, or you might want to train with him again.
True.
Randy came out like destroying him with the stand-up.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And Mickey came back with, he's just dropping that overhand right. I think Randy, when he took him down that first time, and had a little fun with him on top, should have just got up and said, get up. That what it does to a fighter when you get up, it's just you kind of defeat him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're telling him,
yeah.
This is where you're weak, and this is where I'm going to take advantage of you.
You're
And psychologically, you do something to them. We could analyze that some other day, but I think Randy should have just kept it more on the feet. It was basically a MMA grappling match.
It was dominant, but it didn't need to be that close.
It didn't need to be that close.
Yeah.
Randy could have just done him in with the stand-up, with the
Yeah.
kickboxing. He could have done that. I don't know what was going on, but we'll ask him when he comes on the show.
True.
But that one I got right. And I was telling people that it was going to be a slaughter. Mickey Gall wasn't ready to be on the UFC stage.
He proved that he's a good MMA fighter, maybe on a regional level.
Yeah, on a
And
regional
he
level.
might be a good UFC fighter later
In
on.
the future, yeah. He's
But
young.
To be against this competition that young in your career,
Before,
it's gonna be tough.
Before you get on your UFC level and you're in the regionals, you gotta work your weaknesses, your experience.
Yeah.
And he has none when it comes to stand-up, it seems like. I could put him up against, Levon or George over here, just in stand-up, and, 135, 145, they'd beat him. They'd probably beat him in wrestling, too.
Yeah, I would say wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah. In the jiu-jitsu game. He's long and he's all that, but, they just, I think they'd still beat him.
He's just
I don't
not
think
there
he's
yet.
Yeah, I don't think he's that great at jiu-jitsu where he's like, Maya level. He's not there. I'm sure he's a good jiu-jitsu guy, but let's Mickey, you had a nice run, but now you're Sage Northcutt.
Exactly that.
That's exactly what you are. He
And
beat
it's
him,
interesting
right?
Yeah, he did beat him. He
Yeah.
choked him out, but
Yeah.
he's still at that level of who
Yeah.
are they going to give him now? Random guys, try to build him up.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to give him legit guys, it's going to be.
UFC makes
guys.
tons of mistakes, trying to find stars.
Mm-hmm.
And they bring these guys on. They're I'm not going to name any names, but they made a huge mistake, and they're bringing somebody on now.
Now?
Yeah, they're going to bring
And
someone
you think
on.
it's too early?
For someone, yes.
Okay.
And, there is a champion right now at Ring of Combat at 135 who's really ready. Marat's guy.
Okay. Yeah.
Keshtov.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
The both guys now.
Yeah, so here's a guy who's really ready.
Mm-hmm.
And he just didn't make it on the show. He didn't have the connections and stuff like that.
But that guy does have connections with UFC.
Yes.
I know who you're talking about.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And UFC is just going to keep making these silly mistakes, if they make decisions off their buddies rather than the best.
Yeah.
We know, UFC should have a connection with all the gyms, and listen to all the different guys who are fighting each other regionally, and don't take any one person's word for it. and just see, hear the stories, because we all knew Weidman was awesome before he showed the world he was awesome.
Yeah.
New York knew about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone who trained in New York and got a chance to either be around Weidman or had the opportunity to be around one of his friends, everybody knew that Weidman was considered to be, non-human. He was
like a protege.
Yeah, he was amazing. Everyone knew it. It was a story. Now, in that case, yes, if you would have spoken to any one of his boys, yes, they were right. But, in this case coming up, they didn't take the best. And the best is, not in the UFC right now at 135.
Yeah.
And
that guy, Alex Keshtov, is the guy who you think should be ready for UFC.
Of course.
Yeah. I just remembered his name.
He is ready for UFC.
Mm-hmm.
He's totally ready for UFC. And, time. But still, UFC makes a lot of... Okay, let's talk about Hendricks real quick, okay? Mm-hmm. Hendricks and Costa. This guy, he is... If he keeps on going the way he's going, Costa...
Yeah.
He's going to be a huge star.
Yeah, because he has the look and
he has the look.
I don't know if he speaks good English. I think it was okay.
Doesn't matter. Brazilians, they're intelligent network of people. Mm. I don't know why Aldo never learned English, but they'll teach this guy English. You know, he's young. He can do it.
Yeah,
as you can see, a lot of the Brazilian guys who didn't speak English are starting to now have conversations on the mic. Mm-hmm. In English, like they're still being told the question in Portuguese, but they're answering in English.
Okay.
Because they can't hear exactly what the person is saying. You kind of have to slow it down for a person who's learning English. Good example of that is the Dragon, which we can talk about briefly. I feel so bad for him, and I was wrong about that too. I was wrong. Listen, Costa did his thing, man. And Hendricks is a great notch for him on his belt.
Exactly.
And yes, Hendricks is looking horrible. He's too chubby for that weight class. It's not muscle weight. It's not muscle 185. He looks like a man who won't get a haircut. He just looks like a man who's just being defeated.
Yeah. Did you see his weigh-in? That little speech he did, he thought he was going to miss weight. Uh-huh. And before he stepped on the scale, he's telling the media, my scale was off by 1.5 pounds, so don't make negative headlines about me missing weight again. And it was just really awkward. Oh. And then he steps on the scale and he made weight, and then he was it was just what's going on?
He can't make 85, that's fat? I mean...
So it's
I could make 85.
I don't know where his
and
mind
I'm
is
fat.
at.
Listen... he's done, man. I think I don't know how many more fights he has on his contract, Hendricks, but I think he's done. I think they might give him one more and say, if you start getting serious and go back to 170, start proving yourself again. Okay.
I don't think he's
gonna do it.
No, I think.
Of course they're gonna suggest it to him.
I think they're gonna let him go.
Probably.
It seems like a Bellator. I could see that happening.
I was right about this one, though. Masvidal and Thompson. I said Thompson would win.
Yeah, this was a frustrating fight. It's always
you guys love Masvidal.
Yeah, we like his style, and we were upset during the fight.
Yeah, you guys love him. I think he's a tool.
Why?
He's just he's just too angry. He's not a good role model. I think he's a tool.
Are you talking about the Bisping stuff? That he was talking shit to Bisping?
He's talking shit all the time, Mm-hmm. Is that him?
I think a little bit of it. It doesn't come off as fake. I don't think it's real. He really has hatred for these guys he's talking shit about. Uh-huh. But at least it doesn't come off as fake.
I don't know, man. He's got ridiculous gripes with people for nothing.
I think the Cuba thing, how Bisping ripped the flag up. I think he was pissed off about that.
That's legitimate. Listen, I'll tell you this: George is a great fighter, but he needs to pay more attention. He was talking. I saw an interview where he's like, I don't cut weight anymore. That tells you a lot about his mentality. You know what I mean? Now he doesn't want to cut weight. He doesn't want to do interviews. You know, he thinks he's Nate Diaz or Nick Diaz now. He doesn't want to do interviews. He wants to eat sushi in his bed before he goes
Play
out
video
to
games.
yeah, play video games or whatever. He likes to eat McDonald's or Taco Bell. Or,
That's like the big thing about him, that he eats fast food.
yeah, it's like, come on.
It's impressive how good he is with that lifestyle.
Well, there you
though.
go. He's ruining himself.
Exactly. Like,
You know,
if he's this good on that lifestyle of eating and playing video games, eating
Right.
fast food,
That's why he's a tool.
I guess it's a little bit of a wasted talent, but
There's one thing I do agree with him on.
what's up?
Yeah, UFC fucked up a lot of people with the Reebok.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
That I agree with him about, you know. He's so right about that. You know how many people are making so much money?
Yeah, a lot.
You
And
know-
Brazilians, I heard like Dos Santos lost millions of dollars
Yeah.
in Brazilian sponsorships.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people lost a lot of money. And that was not fair of UFC. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if UFC goes, I mean, they're at a peak all-time high right now.
Mm-hmm.
But there might be a point where, you know, a B organization may come up, you know, and really...
Yeah. Bellator has that crazy event coming up.
Yeah,
The
but
heavyweight.
still, the Bellator's using that. They're using that, you know, UFC's reject mentality. You know, like the guys who can't be at the top at UFC or at the top of Bellator.
They need their own guy.
They need their own
They
guy.
almost had it with Michael Chandler,
Right.
but now he has that weird loss where he got injured.
They got to be more aggressive with their scouting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, you could call someone or call their manager and be like, "Oh, we want him to fight at Bellator," and the manager calls the guy, and the guy says, "No, I'm waiting for UFC." You know,
Yeah, that'll happen.
that will
All the
happen.
time.
They gotta go out. They gotta, you know, they gotta make great deals. You know, they gotta make great deals for these great fighters that are up and coming. Make them your dudes. A lot of these shows have so many problems, you know, because they often hire people that either are their friends or have a good resume. But you need to hire people who love MMA, who understand.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but listen, I know the New York scene. But if you take me to Kentucky and let me scout Kentucky for, you know, a couple of weeks, a month, I will know who all the best fighters are. You know, I will know.
Like, what do you in training or in like fights? Live
From fights, from training, from a lot of different things. You know, these guys are making big mistakes and a lot of, you know, this is the opportunity because this Reebok deal has really fucked over a lot of people.
Yeah, it's like they're on their ass about what they wear to press conferences and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you wearing normal jeans? Like, I think Tony Ferguson got in trouble for wearing jeans at a weigh-in, or Nate Diaz got in trouble for that. It's like, jeans don't even have a name brand on them. It's like...
I know. And when I was there, on the rules, they said as long as you're wearing stuff that has no logo on it, you can wear suits, whatever.
Okay.
So I don't know why. Maybe they changed some rules. But if the jeans, I'm sure the jeans have a logo somewhere. But if
Yeah.
it's not in your face and you can't see it, then it wasn't seen, you know? Listen, Jorge has got to grow up. Stop being a tool, all right? Stop trying to, you know, give us your, what do you call it, character. You're a great fighter. Get up. Wake up, man, and do what's right for yourself.
I think he's going to get one more chance. Like, I'm not saying that they're thinking about cutting him, but one more chance at a big fight.
The
'Cause
thing
his
is,
two losses are against top guys, Maya and Wonderboy.
right, he'll stay in for a long time because he's always going to be the guy who loses to the top guy and beats the middle guy. Do you
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? So he'll always stay in. He'll be like a Koscheck, you know? He'll always climb up and then always fall back if he doesn't change his attitude. You know, you look at your swimmers, you know? Your Olympic swimmers. They shave their whole body down just so, you know, their hair doesn't interfere with a second of their time. Just
Like
1 second.
milliseconds, Yeah, not even second, like milliseconds.
Yeah, milliseconds.
Yeah, just get an edge.
Just to get that edge, you know? Get your edge, man. Do what's right for yourself. Look at the picture of him anyway. Look at him. He looks like he just doesn't care. And the Diaz brothers, they've come a long way in this sport. They are the pioneers of the sport.
And it took them a long time.
Yeah. Okay. So
It
if they
took
want
Nate 10 years to.
they're
get
not
that
making
shine.
believe. That's who they are.
It is.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sure you had a tough life, but you're living in beautiful Florida right now. Palm trees and greatness, and you're part of a great camp and all that stuff. Just be grateful for what you have. Start fixing yourself and give us the George Masvidal that we deserve. All right, Stephen Thompson.
What do you think about him? Because it's tough for him. Because as long as Woodley's champion, I don't think he's gonna get a title fight.
Listen. I don't know why I wanted to talk about this fight. Is Jorge Masvidal showed us what you need to do to Stephen Thompson in the first round. He was destroying his leg.
Yeah.
He could have broken his knee time to time. I mean, and if your camps don't see that about Stephen Thompson, his stance, he's changed it. His leg was hurting so much. Mm-hmm. You could just keep pounding that front leg of his in. Easy to beat Stephen Thompson. But if you fight his game, he's going to beat you.
Yeah, that karate game.
And why do you think Woodley didn't fight his game?
Because he would have lost.
That's right.
Yeah, played that point game.
Yeah, for the most part, yes, I get it that karate's old, but there's some guys who are using it correctly.
He is.
Yeah.
Sage Northcutt isn't, I wouldn't say.
Well, I think Sage Northcutt is better at striking. He's a decent striker. It's just he had no grappling game, so you could beat him easily in grappling.
Yeah.
So it kind of like deteriorates his striking game. Sage has some decent striking. The best, not yet. He could get there, but he is going to be in the Rocky movie, I hear.
That would be pretty cool. As
Drago's son. That's what? As cheesy as it sounds, I want to see it.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the movie because of that. I know that the last movie won an Oscar or something, but I didn't love it. I didn't love Creed.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm worrying about because it's like they're getting like really good actors for that. So would they get this random fighter to play in it?
Well, if all he has to do is he will die, that's fine. Anyone can fucking do that.
Look at like Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger. They weren't actors. They were just like tough
Arnold couldn't even act.
Yeah. So
they gave him 3 lines, and Conan the Barbarian was one of the greatest movies ever made.
So put Sage in that.
Yeah, I think Sage is a perfect fit for that. Listen, Thompson is great. You know what, man? People can't take him down. He's doing something right.
Yeah,
whatever tricks Weidman is feeding him is working. Mm-hmm. He is great at stopping people.
He's really close to Weidman and his family.
Yeah, I know.
He even married, like his brother married. Like they're like a family now. Something.
Could be. Listen, Thompson is great, and if you play his game, I don't care who you are, you're going to get beat. Mm-hmm. But Woodley didn't play his game.
No.
And listen, but you can beat him. You can destroy his leg. He switches his stance, destroy his other leg. You saw the what do you call it? The driving kicks that he was giving to his knee.
Yeah.
You could snap someone's knee like that,
especially in his stance, that wide stance.
Yeah, he just didn't keep up with it because he's not mentally stable, and that's why I think he's a tool. But that's that. Let's move on. Okay, now these are the big three, man. These are the big three.
This was probably the biggest shocker of the night for me.
Wait a second. I have to say something.
What's up?
St. Preux.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
He did another Von Fluke?
No, he did a head kick.
Head kick?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
He's on a run right now.
Now, who's the guy who does all the Von Fluke
shows?
He is.
He is, but this last one was a head kick.
Okay, all right.
He's the guy. He's done it like 3 times in a row, and now he got a head kick KO.
Okay, cool. Against Anderson.
Yeah.
That's another thing about Corey, man. He, I feel bad. I love the guy.
He was doing good too in the fight.
Yeah, I just like the guy, you know?
Look, 7 minutes of control,
Yeah.
60 total strikes, but he got caught with a head kick twice, and the second one put him out cold.
All right. Anyway, okay,
4
let's go.
takedowns.
Start us off. Start the embarrassment. 3 embarrassment rounds. I can't believe I would have bet my life on these
On
fights.
this Joanna winning? And she
Yes,
got put
I would have.
out
I would have put my
fast.
house down on it.
3 minutes. That was wild. And it wasn't even close. The entire fight was Rose walking her down,
Yeah.
and then she set up that little angle on the left hook.
Yeah. Twice.
Put her out. Yeah. She dropped her. The first angle, watching it live, it was a bad camera angle. You couldn't really
Right.
see what dropped her.
Right.
And it was like, what
you
the
might
fuck
think it's a
happened?
slip. Oh,
Yeah.
because she's been rocked before.
By
And she's been
Carolina.
taken down, and she's been rocked.
Yeah.
So you know that when she gets rocked, she gets back up and she kicks some ass. But go on.
She wasn't. Rose didn't let her. And Rose has the weird power. I don't know if it's her, like the reach she has that she's able to cut these weird angles. But she's one of the only 115 pounders that could. That's the 115
Right.
that could knock girls out. She's dropping girls like Karate Hottie knocked her out. Well, didn't knock her out, but dropped her before submitting her.
Right. And Karate Hottie was doing great before. Listen, not that I didn't want Rose to win. You know, it's not like I hated anyone here. You know, I love Joanna. I think she's a great example of hard work. And, you know, Rose, I think, is a wonderful person.
Yeah, it was a great interview at the end.
Yeah, I really like them both. But right now, I have to give it up to Rose. She did such a great job. I mean, it's scary because you know her jits is like probably one of the best in that division.
Yeah, I would say so.
So now that she's got the stand up, do you know her coach? Who that is?
Trevor Whitman. He works in Colorado, I think. He trains Gagey. He trained Shane Carwin back in
I
the
really
day.
like that guy.
He's like an old school boxing guy.
Yeah,
You know?
he's pretty awesome, and you never see him wear what do you call it? Pads on the hand.
Oh, okay.
He does everything with just
I
his.
didn't notice that.
Yeah, and he did a great job with her.
Yeah, for real.
He's smart. He saw where Joanna's weaknesses are, and he went after it, you know? And they just did it solid. So, Rose, congratulations. I
think
didn't
they're gonna
think
do a
you were
rematch?
going to win. You know what? Rose said it right. If you beat someone in the first round, was it first or second?
It was first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you beat someone in the first round, knock them out, you don't deserve.
It's a good point. I don't know who else really deserves it at the moment. And Joanna was on a crazy run, but still, you got put out in 3 minutes. It's like,
Yeah.
she does have a point. She might be wrong that they might do the rematch, but Rose isn't wrong saying that.
Yeah. I say this. All these beautiful, I won't call them boutique, but they're huge because, but I would say these wholesale gyms now. They're so huge, like American Top Team is huge.
Okay.
I remember watching Joanna doing her pad work with her Polish coach. She was doing some intense pad work. And now I watch her doing these 2-punch combinations,
At ATT.
3-punch combinations at ATT. I think maybe they did a disservice to her.
Maybe. Could be. Why stop what's working, you know? She
Right.
made that switch at a time of success, so it was weird.
They kind of set her back. I could be wrong.
I'm sure they gave her better grappling and defense, wrestling, take.
I'm sure, but still, you know what, Joe? Why would someone who made it to the highest level go and leave their coach then?
Who knows? It could have been. It couldn't have had nothing to do with training. It could have been like a personal issue, kind of like how Habib left K-Dojo. It wasn't because he didn't like the gym or Murat. It's because it was a agent type of thing.
Right.
So really, who knows that story?
You don't, but Habib was at the beginning of his career. She's at the
Yeah,
top
he
of
wasn't
her.
at the top.
She's at the top of her career, and you know she handed over. She handed over what made her great. You know, she looked much better in the past than she does now. You could say it's because the competition is better, but I think you know Connor says it right. You know, you're a fucking snake in the grass.
Stay with your team. Stay loyal.
Stay loyal. You know, you could go to ATT and do some stuff. Hell, you could move your, you know, trainer.
Your team there.
You know, if you're a champ and you're getting endorsements and you're pulling in a few million, what's the big deal of moving your trainer to America? You know, if that's where you want to live, move his family down to America.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. Because I think the reason why she did move there is for the takedown defense, like grappling, but.
And it's a beautiful gym. The new gym, my God, the facility is amazing. I just want to go in there and like hug it. You know what I mean? It's just so gorgeous. But you know what? Just because they're making tons of money doesn't mean that's the best gym.
No, doesn't mean that.
Well, I just want to break it down like so. And I think I've said something similar. But if you got 1,000 fighters and you can produce a few good ones, doesn't make you good. If you got a few fighters and all of them are good, that's what makes someone good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's it. They probably have 5,000 members, you know?
ATT for sure.
Yeah. They probably got some ridiculous number. I mean, size of that facility, you know? My facility here is 5,700 square feet, and it's considered to be huge, you know? But over there, I think they got like, I don't know, 80,000 square feet, you know? It's crazy, and it goes up high, and they have dorms and houses and kitchens and all these different things. I understand it's a great gym, but doesn't mean that they're great. I mean, if you saw one of those Ultimate Fighters, a basic nobody, a guy who owns a tool company. I think he owns Husky Tools, his competition at Black Zillions.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like
a basic nobody.
They're not trainers, but they're just the owners.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
basic
about.
nobody, you know, in the mixed martial arts. One, out-strategized ATT, you know, and had a better, you know, group of guys there. I'll tell you why. Not because that guy was great, because he realized that there are people that he could put in there that are great. You know, and the Black Zillions they're doing all right, you know?
They're not even like Black Zillions anymore. They're it's just Henry Hoof's gym. Like in
that
Florida.
guy left?
I don't know. I just know it's not Black Zillions anymore. It's still all those fighters still train in Florida with Henry Hoof.
Right.
Like Robbie Lawler moved there now.
Right.
Michael Johnson still trains there. Volkan is there.
Luke Rockhold.
Yeah, Luke Rockhold trained there a little bit.
Yeah. You know, just because, you know, there's a couple of great fighters went through the gym doesn't mean that they got the answer for you.
Yeah, she only won, I think she moved there before the Andrade fight.
Yeah.
So she's only had 1-2 fights there.
So she's working off the fumes of her old coach. I mean, listen, I have to say, yeah, she got fucking outclassed, but really? A multiple Muay Thai world champion getting knocked out like that? By a girl who's climbing the ladder?
Yeah,
who couldn't fight like that a year ago?
It catches up to you. If she plateaued and then rose is hungry, you know?
Yeah, well, maybe she plateaued and maybe she regressed. You know, she went backwards with her current training situation.
Her next fight is going to answer it, I guess.
Yeah. I just think that she was too distracted for this fight. She was training the wrong way. You know, the best way to put it is she's a complex fighter. And if you simplify a complex fighter, then you take away what's good about them. And if you take a simple fighter and make things complex for them, they won't be able to fight either. You know, you have to slowly add to your abilities. You can't just go from, oh, I do these 5 things great, to, oh, I do 20 things now. You know, you don't do those 20 things. The rest of them great. I just think that she's a complex striker, and she just went backwards. I feel bad for her because I really like her. Boom, boom, boom.
Next fight, best fight on the card probably.
Whoa.
This was awesome. Back and forth. Both of them got knocked down. Head kick knockdowns. Cody's hands were so fast. He was landing like those boxing on the pad combinations like super fast in the first round. But then TJ kind of proved like having more tools, having kicks, having takedowns.
Yeah, I mean, if we take him at his word,
was a punch. He didn't do anything else really. There weren't any
you're right.
kicks.
If we take if we take TJ at his word, then his game plan was to keep going to the body till he drops his hands, and then go high, and that's what he did. Now he says that his coach told him to changed up the footwork in the second round.
Yeah.
And he did, and he won the fight because he almost got knocked out.
And he wanted him, Dwayne was saying kick to the body.
It's funny because that video that they put out.
Yeah. The knockdown, it was really similar to the knockdown in the fight. Exactly the same.
It's almost karma.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Do you
was
get what
too
I'm
much.
saying?
Yeah, that looks really bad now. And it was so funny on Twitter, someone posted after the pay-per-view, I heard a rumor that there's a video of TJ knocking out Cody Garbrandt.
The same, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, now that knockout is...
I know there's going to be some fucking millions and millions of these karmaic spiritual guys. So you don't do that sort of shit.
Yeah.
That shit comes back to you. It doesn't come back to you. It just happened, all right?
It's just timing.
It happened, but it feels
It doesn't look
divine,
good. Yeah,
you know?
It does.
Wow. Cody could have taken that fight in the first round had he had 30 more seconds.
Because his killer instinct would have finished it.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to play a little Monday night quarterback, or what's the, basically, okay, I said Cody's a killer, TJ's an athlete, but they're both killers. Because last night I was watching Joe Rogan when Cody was on with his coach.
Uriah.
Yeah. And they were talking, and TJ is an asshole.
Yeah. I don't know if that stuff's true, but I wouldn't be too surprised.
He is a killer. TJ is a killer. They're both killers. And you know what? I guess, listen, they could fight tomorrow and TJ may lose.
Yeah, they should.
It's just one of those, they're so, evenly matched. It could happen at any time.
Just look the way the fight ended. It ended in, a super close range.
Right.
Tight hooks. They were both in range, but TJ landed the cleaner hook,
Yeah. Well, Cody had him.
It wasn't a firefight. The fight ended in,
Cody had him, all right? 30 more seconds, he would have won that fight. If this was old Pride rules, where 10-minute first round, Cody would have come out the champion, but he didn't. I gotta give it to TJ. He did a great job, man. He really came back from a tough situation, and he knocked this guy out. I thought he was gonna lose. I was almost confident. I didn't think Cody was gonna box him.
What did you think he was going to do?
I thought he was going to beat him up with straight punches.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? You know how he did to, Almeida?
Yeah.
Almeida's this great, Muay Thai fighter and stuff like that. He just went in 1-2s, just straight up punching, just like walked right through. He didn't do that to Dillashaw. I guess because he's fought him so many times in the gym.
He kind of laid back.
I don't know if he laid back. I think he respected him. He respected him too much.
Might have.
And yes, Cody wins the boxing, but TJ did hit him with a right hook, but it wasn't because he's this phenomenal boxer. He was using everything.
Yeah.
It was just, throwing that kick
like 20 seconds before.
Yeah. He was using footwork. He was mixing things up, and he caught him in the chaos.
Yeah, TJ is like a legitimate switch stance fighter.
Yeah.
Where he could fight from both stances. He could fight from like a middle stance. Like, there's a lot of guys that switch.
I hope Mighty White Mouse wipes the floor with him.
You think he will? And that was a good interview. That was a good call out too.
Well, listen.
And if Mighty Mouse doesn't want that fight, that's a big mistake. He needs to realize that this is what's going to make him a star. Having this like heat between him and TJ.
I don't know. Has Mighty Mouse said anything?
He said before, like he wants
not
more
before,
money.
no, recently.
Oh, recently? I don't know, but he wants more money for it. But the thing is, like, Chael Sonnen even made a good point. Anderson Silva wasn't always a draw. He wasn't always this guy. It took someone, and Chael Sonnen was that person, to come in and make him a star. So you can't just demand more money, but this fight is going to turn you into a star.
That's what Dana White says. Show me the numbers, we'll give you the money.
Yeah.
He says that he's partners now.
Just for his accomplishments, but he can't deny a fight with TJ and expect to make more money fighting these random guys. What is he going to do, rematch?
TJ versus DJ.
Yeah, that's the fight to make. And TJ, that was a good call out. The interview was good. It wasn't like... Because a lot of guys, when they call a guy out, I've noticed, like, they stutter. Like what happened with Mariah's. It was weird. Like, they looked like they were nervous. Not nervous, but they didn't look comfortable. But TJ was comfortable.
I think it will be a great fight. Here's the thing. He won't be able to do a suplex flying armbar on a guy like
Definitely
TJ.
Not. No way.
But
it's going to be a striking match.
Yeah.
On the ground, I think TJ will be too strong. And they both have really good jiu-jitsu.
I don't know. I think, on the ground, I think that DJ, not TJ, DJ has better skills. I'm not saying getting to the ground. I don't know. It has yet to be tested. But you know what? DJ has gone against, all Americans, NCAA champions, gold medalists. And he's done his job. So don't count DJ out in the wrestling game against TJ Dillashaw. Listen, Dillashaw's a tough competitor, but I think that DJ can do it.
I would pick TJ in a fight right now if I had to choose.
TJ over DJ?
Yeah.
Okay.
By decision.
Killashaw.
Thrillershaw, like
Thrillershaw.
DC kept making like nicknames.
Yeah.
He did a good job. That was a good commentary. That was fun.
Listen,
and then
he took
after the fight when they stared each other down. That was crazy too.
There's this genius thing that he did. Now, I'm not saying he's a genius, but he did a genius thing. TJ took his snake persona that everyone's putting on him, and created a logo out of it.
Yeah, Reebok made that shirt.
Uh-huh.
It's good that he ran with it, I guess.
He ran with it. He took it, and it could have been, his symbol of shame, but he made it his symbol of pride.
Yeah.
And that was pretty intense. It shows that not only is he a great competitor physically, but he competed mentally against these guys.
He didn't take it personal. He kind of...
I'm sure he did. It's got to be tough.
I think he said that it's been such a long rivalry that it kind of got old. In the beginning, it annoyed him, but then it's kind of like, okay, I get it. You're calling me a snake. Like, let's just... Right. He's focused on fighting now. He even said if they fought sooner, he might have lost because there was personal vendetta between them.
Right.
But the fact that it lasted so long, it was like, all right, I'm over it. I have no animosity. I just want to fight.
Well, Cody was out of it, man. When he screamed in his face,
Yeah.
Cody just didn't know what to do, you know. Then they kind of pulled them apart, and Cody's just like on the other side. And he's starting to do his dance, you know, the dance where he still thinks he's in a fight. He's kind of like memory lapsing. He doesn't know if he's fighting or not. You know, he really didn't. He really messed him up, and I feel bad for Cody, you know, but this could make him a better fighter, you know. And TJ is well known for being a workhorse, you know. So hard work does pay off. Cody didn't beat him for the title. What do you call it? Did Cruz?
Yeah.
And
Cruz in a super close fight.
In a super close fight, and you know he beat Cruz, but that doesn't mean that this style and that style are the answer.
Yeah,
you know,
MMA math doesn't work out.
Right.
And I think TJ lost that fight because he was playing Cruz's game. It's kind of like when you're fighting Thompson, you play that karate game, you're going to lose. When you play that dance around, when you try to fight like Cruz, like you're not going to out Cruz.
Right.
So just do what you do. And because TJ could easily beat Dominic, and Dominic could easily do the same thing.
Right. It's like these three are on the top, and Jimmy Rivera too.
Yeah,
they're gonna put Jimmy Rivera in the mix. I don't know when things like this happen. But Jimmy had a big fight coming
Huge
up,
fight.
and yes, what do you call it, is known to pull out of fights for injuries all the time. But sometimes I wonder when someone has to fight, you know, someone who's climbing up, who is a real threat.
Yeah.
And they kind of just like don't
not
want
worth
to
it.
fight. They don't want to fight. Yeah. They don't think it's worth to lose to someone who's climbing.
There's no value in it. Even if he beat Jimmy,
Right.
he could get a title fight without fighting Jimmy.
Jimmy's
'Cause he
awesome.
has rivalries with both these guys.
Right.
So he could get a title fight. So it's just a lose, you know?
Jimmy is awesome, I have to say. And, you know, I hope he didn't lose his great opportunity. Somebody else called him out. But no, he should get Cody now.
It depends, really. That would be a great fight. Cody.
He should get Cody.
Yeah.
Since Cruz is out.
If Cody is willing to come back that quick, and if they let him come back that quick off a knockout, but
No, no, they'd have to wait a couple of months.
I think Jimmy might want to stay on that card though.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah,
might fight
it wouldn't
him.
hurt for Jimmy to just stay and fight maybe Aljamain, fight Marlon Moraes. I would pick.
He
Jimmy
doesn't
in
want to
both those
fight
fights.
Aljamain because of that, because he doesn't think it pays off. But who else is up there for the 35 division?
A Sun Sao. A Sun Sao is the type of guy that it doesn't. It's always going to be a weird fight. He's a tough guy to fight. You know. His fights are like awkward.
Anyway, let's just hope that things work out for Jimmy. It's a shame because he was about to catapult himself into superstardom.
Exactly. On a big card, end of the year card.
Yeah, and let's talk about.
The man.
Okay, let me.
GSP
I am sorry, GSP.
is the best.
I am sorry, GSP. Holy moly. He outstruck him. He outgrappled him.
Everything.
He outjitzed him. I mean, grappling.
The only
he outwrestled and he outjitzed him.
the only
which is
thing that
grappling.
Bisping had success with was the elbows from the bottom. His
Yeah.
guard.
Yeah.
He won that exchange like GSP on top because GSP wasn't doing anything, and GSP mentioned he took that time off to kind of regain his strength. He just stayed on top.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I was saying in the past, that the game has changed. And before, if you go into someone's guard, you're still the guy hitting.
Oh,
But
yeah,
today,
you're winning.
we've developed new techniques to be more dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, you could really do a number to someone on the ground.
He cut him twice.
Yeah.
In 2 places. Yeah.
You know, with those elbows, and he wasn't even using the best style that I've seen. You know, he wasn't even using his legs the way some guys use the legs, where they keep bringing the opponent down to right about here and that elbow, and they keep moving the head. You know, and they keep destroying the person
Yeah.
who's on top in their guard. Wow, George looked great.
I think it was a boxing combination that finished him, and then the jiu-jitsu that ended it. It was perfect, you know? He showed off everything. Wrestling, that 1-2 to the body, and then the 3 upstairs. And then...
He was looking great.
He landed huge elbows when he dropped them, too.
And he didn't have a great month. And he looked great.
Exactly.
So...
Too big for the division, though. I don't think he should fight Whitaker. I think Whitaker is too fast. I don't know. He could...
you know what? That's what people could have said about Bisping or Rockhold. And you know what? George is the type of fighter that will bring you down to his speed.
Okay. Like change the rhythm of the
change your rhythm up. Because Whitaker's not known for being a wrestler.
No. He's a, like, boxer, karate type of speed guy.
George has a lot of answers, you know? And that's the thing, you know, I doubted him because of his timeout, you know? Not that I would have picked Bisping 4 years ago. I wouldn't have. I was just thinking that, you know, I'm thinking he's coming back to make some extra cash. Mm-hmm. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And every great fighter has the right to do that. You know, every great fighter has.
But if that's your only intention, you're probably going to lose.
Yeah, I just didn't think. But he came out to win, you know, and when he did, he won himself a title, 2-division champ. Okay, so Conor's.
Also 2-division.
Conor,
Randy
him,
Couture,
Randy
Penn,
Couture,
and BJ Penn.
BJ Penn.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. Listen, man. I mean, George is amazing.
He's beat everyone he's fought.
Right.
Like, he avenged all his losses.
Yes.
He's never popped for anything.
Right.
And 2 titles, that's... It was always, for the last maybe 4 years, it was John Jones or Anderson, greatest of all time. But those guys, they had their problems. So it's like George is number one for a lot of guys.
He's awesome. And what I said has... I'm not trying to, you know, degrade him. I think every guy who's been at the top of their career has the right to retire, come back 5 years later for a money fight. Mm-hmm. Do you get what I'm saying? It's okay to do so, you know? And even Mayweather just did it.
Exactly.
It's okay. Why not? You know, if you could earn a few mil and, you know, but he wasn't out. He's not out, it seems like.
It was right away. He looked fine.
He looked fine.
Look like he had octagon jitters at all.
Now, this is a tough choice, you know? So, okay, George is awesome. We know it. But he's got Woodley on one side and Whitaker on the other.
Yeah.
What a fucking spot to be in, huh?
Killers.
And if it wasn't Whitaker, it would be Romero.
That would be even like...
That would be even scarier, you know? Holy, what do you do here? You know what I mean?
I think he should go to 170 and fight Woodley.
I mean...
Woodley has the ability to hurt him worse than Whitaker could. Because if Whitaker ends the fight and if Woodley ends the fight, the guy who got finished by Woodley is probably going to the hospital.
Right.
If you get what I'm saying. But I think GSP has tools to beat Woodley.
Now, this has come up, and I don't think this is a bad idea, to tell you the truth. We're talking about a legend, you know? If he fights Conor McGregor...
Yeah, that's the fight everyone wants.
That would be huge.
I think the timing is bad. I think that's what might happen.
No, the timing is perfect. If Conor doesn't fight Ferguson...
I think Conor needs to fight Ferguson, though. That's
so far, what I understand, he's not doing it on the 30th.
I think that was bullshit. I think that's bullshit, the whole we pulled him out of that card. I think that's lies. Yeah. He was never going to fight on that card. If this Bellator thing never happened, he wasn't going to fight on that card.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second.
I think this was almost an excuse to kind of be like, oh, Conor was going to fight, so this is our punishment. But that was never going to happen. He wasn't going to fight in 2 months.
Listen, Conor needs to fight Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, he needs to.
And I'll tell you something, man. I don't give a shit about this. Oh, this guy doesn't pull in enough money. You know what, man? He's the champ.
Exactly.
You're the champ. There is no, because in boxing, when someone gets the title, and the other guy's got the title, and if you have an intern title, you have to fight. It's called a mandatory.
Yeah. Like what Anthony Joshua had a mandatory
Yeah.
defense. It's so crazy how fans, like I saw on a tweet, someone replied to Tony Ferguson, like they said Tony Ferguson and Conor McGregor have to fight, and someone replied, Tony's last pay-per-view did so. Like, stop right there.
Stop
like, what
right
are we
there.
talking about that? Since when did a matchup, like, are there stats like here, Michael Bisping's average pay-per-view, GSP's average pay-per-view? Like, it has nothing to do with the fight.
Yeah, he fought Lee.
It's
Lee
like,
was like a kid who was climbing the ladder
and it
himself.
did pretty good for that.
Yeah,
for those guys, for Ferguson versus Lee, the pay-per-view did better than expected.
Right.
Like, usually that fight would do like 100, 200, but I think it did pretty good.
A lot of missed opportunities. And
it's crazy how people think that makes you a better fighter these days. Pay-per-view buys. That's not on the tail of the tape. That's not on the record. It's like...
You gotta... Ric Flair, old wrestling dude,
Yeah.
used to say, to be the man, you have to beat the man.
Exactly. And
Okay?
both of them are the man right now.
Right
if
now-
anything, Tony Ferguson is the man.
Tony's the man.
Yeah.
He's been solidly winning in his weight
He's coming
class.
off a win.
He's
on a
been
10-fight
on like a
win streak.
10-fight win streak.
And Conor, even though that was boxing, it's a loss.
All right.
He lost to Nate Diaz. He did beat Eddie, but still, it's like...
And he
when you
didn't even
at
look
last
that good
fights-
against, Lee.
Who, Tony?
Yeah. He beat him pretty
Yeah.
bad.
It
But I'm
was a
saying
back and forth.
I've seen him in better, showings.
Yeah.
So, listen, man. I think there's a little fear setting from Conor. I'm going to break down Conor in a little bit. But,
I think both of them
Tony.
need to fight if they want to do a GSP versus Conor. Conor has to fight Tony, and GSP has to fight either Woodley or Whitaker. And if they win, that's the biggest UFC pay-per-view ever.
you know what, man? First of all, we don't have a free agent society here where if you want to talk about money fights like boxing, that's not the situation right now. All right? Stop looking at it like that. This is a promotion, all right? And the promotion wants to have an intense card that makes millions of dollars. They can. They could put what do you call it? They could put Ferguson and Conor together on the same card as whatever, another big show. TJ Dillashaw and Dimitri Johnson. So, you could make a big card happen. It doesn't have to be on one person. Everything doesn't have to be on one person's shoulder. I think it's bullshit. But I wouldn't mind to see George St. Pierre and Conor go at it.
Yeah. It would be like a strength versus speed fight, I guess.
Now, I lost my train of thought before, but I think that there's some fear setting in on Conor.
With Tony,
Yeah,
there's really no easy fights for him.
there is no more.
And there's not a lot of options. When
And if
there's
you
an
look
interim
at the
guy-
record, he hasn't defended anything.
No, he's never defended a title.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I'm not saying he's awesome. I'm not saying anything. But I'm just saying, he's an opportunist. He's an opportunity fighter. He's looking for the best opportunity.
So you think he sees this GSP fight and Tony is in the way of that?
Yeah.
He's a risk
Yeah.
to stop that? But
And I'm sure George is like, I just want one more fight.
and he won't
George has got this fight. It's winnable for him.
Yeah,
Huge.
sure.
He could do things to Conor that nobody else could.
Ragdoll him.
Yeah, he could
Conor
ragdoll
could
Conor.
also knock him out too before in the stand up.
George will be fine.
Should be interesting.
Yeah, of course.
On the ground, he would ragdoll him.
On the ground, he would ragdoll him. Yeah. And listen, this is basically what could happen to GSP is he could win this fight. Conor doesn't lose a belt. Neither does he, because it have to be at some sort of catch weight.
Yeah.
George solidifies his legendary status. And Conor continues being, the Bacau
Biggest pay-per-view stuff.
of mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
You know who Bukaw,
Yeah,
the
the
Muay
Muay
Thai guy. He's not the best. He hasn't been the champion.
But he's the guy.
He's the guy everyone watches.
Yeah.
He's a fan favorite. And that's it, even wrestling, the fake wrestling, had fan favorites that weren't always the champions. Some people loved certain characters, but they weren't the lead character. I mean, Hulk Hogan was always the champion, but I loved Roddy Piper.
People like villains,
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just the character, and I think that's George could really, do something special here, and Conor would still have his belts or have no belts, or
Yeah. He could,
he could lose this fight and come back and say, you know what, I'm not playing around anymore.
Exactly, and then get the title.
Get the title back, and he, his legendary status reignites. Do you get what I'm saying? Conor's fine. He's fine. He's got a huge future for fighting, and he's got a good, huge movie career ahead of him. He's got tons of things ahead of him. He could do whatever he wants. Conor's fine for the rest of his life. I just think it makes sense if we're talking dollars.
Biggest pay-per-view.
But if we're talking fighters, we're talking Ferguson.
Exactly, yeah. I think that has to, and I think it's going to happen.
Yeah. Let's move on from this. Let's talk about Conor since we're on him.
What he did in
What
Bellator?
he did. Let's talk about what he did in
Yeah.
Bellator. Look, I just want to say this, all right? Conor's run a fucking muck. Okay? He's cursing, at people, calling people faggots,
Yeah.
He's jumping the fence. If you've ever fought for a big organization, you can't jump anyone's fence. Doesn't matter who you are, Conor. It's all gotten to his head. Mm-hmm. And I hope it doesn't become the demise of the Conor that I love. The Conor I love is this fine athlete.
Fun-loving, inspirational.
Yeah, he's a great character, but he's a great athlete too. Mm-hmm. He's the real deal martial artist. While everybody's laughing at him, he's doing like these crazy yoga with that guy.
Yeah.
He's doing it. Whatever he can do to get the edge, just like George St. Pierre. You could laugh at George St. Pierre, but he was in gymnastics.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? He was doing anything that would make him better. And that's what I love about Conor, aside from his character. I love his character too, but he's run amok.
He thinks he's untouchable.
Yes.
Like, he thinks if he speeds... Like, the whole thing I'm comparing this to is at the end of the day, Mark Goddard is an official. He's basically like an officer of... Like, if Conor is speeding 200 miles per hour, and if a cop tries to pull him over, he can't be like, I'm Conor McGregor, fuck you. Right. And the cop's not going to be like, oh, you're Conor McGregor, you're fine.
Right.
Like, just because you're Conor McGregor doesn't mean you could do anything you want.
I've seen it happen to
he
lesser
to be
guys.
Treated like a fan because
Right.
he wasn't licensed. And fighters, even the fighter who wins, you see it all the time that they jump on the cage.
Right.
But even they're not allowed to jump on the cage.
And
You'll see the guy be like, get down, get down.
Each what do you call it? Commission has their own rule set.
Yeah.
Some will say you cannot jump, you'll be fined.
Mm-hmm.
And some don't even say anything at all. Like in Jersey, nobody ever says you can't jump.
Okay.
So you can jump in Jersey. But put that aside, Conor, it's gotten to his head. He's all over the place,
Yeah.
And, if his words were right on with what I read, he doesn't want to fight Ferguson because of money, that whole boxing event has ruined him. Now
so much money, and now
he's like, why should I go backwards?
Yeah.
I could lose a fight with Canelo and make, millions.
Or the same amount, at least.
Yeah.
It's a tough situation for him. You see his character kind of changing. I don't think it's going to go downhill. I think it's just like hitting a weird patch of like, is this like the fun-loving Conor? Is this the Conor I want to root for? Because it was a weird situation.
Now he's becoming an asshole.
It was an asshole thing to do, yeah. I didn't expect anything less.
Right.
And it wasn't like, it was...
He goes and starts a fucking fight because the guy's telling him he can't do that?
Yeah, and then they're like Mark Goddard and him and all the officials are like falling towards the knocked out guy.
Yeah, nobody's even caring about the knocked out guy.
They're like bumping into him. It's like,
well, actually, the ref was just trying to, he tried to tell him, "Hey, you got to go," and then he goes right after the guy and he's pushing him. Like he's gonna fight this guy. I mean, he thinks he owns the world. I mean that's not even your show. How do you feel so comfortable?
Yeah,
Bellator
probably loves it though.
First of all, he wouldn't even be allowed to do that at UFC.
Yeah, I don't think.
They
probably think it's like cute for him to do it, but
right now Dana White is going, "Fuck Bellator, ha ha ha."
Yeah.
Conor, great job. But if Michael Venom did that on your show, what would you do?
They wouldn't like that.
What would you do? You know what I mean? That's not the case. I think Conor needs to step back and reevaluate himself and get back on the horse. It's not about how much money you can make, Conor. You could fight for $500 and make millions in endorsements. Do you get what I'm saying? Because of who you are. And nobody's asking him to fight for $500, all right? He's going to make millions and millions of dollars, probably more than he made in his last UFC fight. But, stop worrying about the money. You're not going to get $100 million. You want to reapply your fucking efforts? Get up and start your own organization.
I think that's something he's thought about.
Yeah. Beat the UFC.
That's going to be interesting. Because I think he's teased that too.
Right, where all your fighters make good money.
At least he's going to have like a fight team, not necessarily like a training fight team, but like kind of like TMT. You know? Like he's a TMT fighter, This guy is a McGregor Promotions fighter.
Right.
He's going to have something like that.
Yeah, he created his
own. Because he already does kind of have like Artem Lobov, Dylan Dennis, if he gets into MMA.
Oh, forget about those guys. No,
but they're like, he's going to expand on that.
Doesn't matter. People will fight on his card. He could get a whole bunch of no-names, If he just applies his sharp, keen eye, which he's shown to have. He's got to get down off of that fucking high horse and get back on the real horse. And, I mean, if he wants to change the game, even for himself, too, he can.
He said something interesting in an interview he did for his movie. They were asking him, like, how does it feel, this lifestyle, like you're super famous? And he said, I don't even remember how it felt 4 years ago to be broke. So he kind of forgot where he came from almost. He said he can't even remember walking down the street and nobody recognizing him. So the fame is like gotten to him completely.
It has. And it's a shame because I really love him. But, I have to be honest, he's becoming a douchebag. That
one scenario of like the Bellator situation was...
He's becoming a douchebag. He's had some douchiness in him, You saw how he conducted himself on his Ultimate Fighter. All his guys lost.
Yeah.
Like pretty much all his guys lost.
He wasn't a coach.
He didn't show up.
Yeah.
And all he did is scream at the guys. What the fuck are you doing? Nobody, you gotta bring your leg out. Nobody will ever take your leg. Oh, please, go up against a guy, a leg lock master. See if it's so easy to do so, I don't know. I mean, he has a lot of great qualities, but he's human. He's not perfect. His shitty qualities are now...
They're shining right now.
And
it could change in a month from now, like once he gets a fight.
Right.
And like other things start making headlines. But right now it's not too good.
Dana White's monster could backfire on him altogether.
Mm-hmm. We've seen it happen. History repeats itself.
Yes.
These guys, they ruin themselves.
Hopefully
it doesn't happen though. He seems like he's had a clear, like, no controversies, no drugs, like, no. Right. So hopefully it stays like that.
Conor,
like, let this be the worst thing he does. If this is the worst thing he does,
no, he's gonna have more.
But hopefully not. But if this is the worst thing he does, then that's perfectly
He's
fine.
going to have more, but he is a smart guy, and I'm sure that, Dana and some people are going to fly to wherever he is or fly him down to wherever they are and going to have like an intervention type talk with him. And right now, buddy, that was fine. Fuck Bellator, but, blah, blah, blah.
Let's get back to the fight.
Let's get back to, where you're supposed to be. And he could just step back and be like, you know what, maybe I have been douching, and I need to change it. And same thing with Masvidal. I mean, stop being a tool, Conor, stop being a douchebag. Just, live up to your potential, guys. You got it. Look at the biggest shame in fighting history has happened. It happened this year with what do you call it?
John Jones.
John Jones. So that's my guy, and I always talk about it. I mean, a lot of weird things are happening lately. I just hope that Conor doesn't become one of those GOAT stories.
And I don't think he will. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, but it seems like it for a second. Seems like it. Let's. What else? We had some things we wanted to talk about.
Aldo getting chosen over Cub Swanson. I love this. The hatred for Aldo runs so deep in MMA fans that they feel like, why the fuck did you give this guy another chance? Cub Swanson should be fighting Holloway, but they both already.
It would be
Holloway.
a better fight too.
Swanson?
Yeah. What do you call it? Holloway and Swanson would be a better fight.
No, I don't think so.
It would.
I'm
just saying, brawl wise.
The first the Aldo Holloway fight that just happened was so good. I love that fight. That was one of my favorite fights of this year.
I don't think it was so good. I think Jose started off good, and then Holloway just let him tire out and picked him apart.
I don't think he tired out. I think he got rocked by a head kick.
Yeah, but he picked him apart. You saw what he was doing to him. He was playing with him.
I think this is the way better fight.
I think it's a good fight. Why not? Jose's a great champion.
I don't think Aldo.
I think Jose. I think Jose retires after this one.
If he loses.
If he
wins, honestly, if he knocks out Holloway, let's say he does like a crazy Aldo knee punches, knockout.
Yeah.
He almost has momentum to go to 155 and maybe get a rematch with Conor. Maybe.
He could. Why not?
If he wins in a good
if that's
way.
In his story, but I don't think. I think Conor has too many things lined up. I think Jose
have
will
a rematch of any sort.
Yeah.
Would be weird.
Right now, it's not part of the. This might happen. This might happen if 20 other things happen.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And I don't think 20 other things are going to happen. Not that fast, at least. I love Holloway. It's going to be tough to beat Holloway.
It is.
I just want to see Cub Swanson. I'm not saying that Cub Swanson and Jose could go at it and have a great fight right now because Jose's not where he used to be, But I just think that Cub Swanson is kind of like, he's at that point right now. He's willing to take the punches.
I think Aldo is showing a little bit of he's taking a short notice fight, which he never does.
Right.
So maybe he might actually have some.
Maybe
fire,
he was getting ready for something else.
I think he was gonna fight Lamas.
Yeah.
At the end of the year.
Yeah.
And Swanson's gonna fight Brian Ortega.
Yeah. So maybe he was already ready and he feels good.
The fact that he's taking this risk, which you don't usually see him do, could be a little like the old Aldo is coming back, like the fighter,
Sometimes long camps don't work out well. Guys reach a peak earlier.
Yeah. And you see it with Bisping beating Rockhold, and
they get sick.
The time.
After you peak sometimes and you keep training, you get sick. You kind of drop down. You get off peak. You get, irregular, and it's sometimes a shorter fight camp works in your favor.
You think guys who have fought for as long as Aldo did, these long fight camps are a waste now? Short.
You know what it is? It's like you gotta develop. Every team has their own thing. But if you got 3 months, I wouldn't start sparring right away.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to start working on some things. But I'm telling you, becoming a better fighter happens when you're not booked for a fight.
Okay.
That's when you work on your jiu-jitsu. That's when you work on your strength training,
Because you're working on yourself, not an opponent.
Exactly, And then when it's time to fight, now you start working on speed and cardio and sparring and things like that, you know? And if you're doing it right, you shouldn't reach a peak, you know, too early. You should know, like, you know, it takes me about X amount of time to reach a peak. And somewhere I'm thinking some people are different, but I have a guy, it takes him just about, it's so weird. He reaches a peak real early.
Okay. So short notice would be better. Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have a guy who takes a long time.
It's interesting. Everyone's different, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And because they train differently, too. Some overtrain, so they reach peaks faster. So you as the coach have to know exactly what to do with your fighter. Yeah. You know?
It's like working on a science.
And the best thing to do
experiment.
is be the neck. You know that from my big fat Greek wedding?
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Anyway, most fighters believe that they're the head of the house. But the fact is, it's your coach who's leading you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the best thing you can do as a coach is just drop suggestions where they think it's their idea. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, like kind of like push them.
Make believe that they made the idea,
yeah.
But really...
And then, oh, great idea. Let's go. Let's follow it. You know what I mean? Before I used to go head-to-head with everybody.
But that doesn't work?
It doesn't work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to play a little mind game.
Yeah, because they're egomaniacs.
Yeah.
You know? They're egomaniacs. And, you know, and I don't know, I'm not going to speak for every coach, but some of us were egomaniacs at one point. We've calmed down and seen the light and the philosophy of life. And now we're ready to lead other people rather than ourselves. So you have to apply your newfound intelligence to an egomaniac. How do you do it?
Only a coach would know. Who has the experience?
Yeah, it's experience, you know? No one can say, oh, I'm going to start being a coach and do it right off the bat. You know how many mistakes you have to make?
Yeah.
And different mistakes, too, you know? Everyone has different... you have to know how to apply your intelligence to people differently, because no one is the same. They're all egomaniacs, but no one is the same.
I get what you mean.
It's just... anyway, what's next? We had something else to talk about. Up-and-coming fights, right?
Yeah.
What's our up-and-coming...
I think it's Verdum. It's a weird card. It's not really any big
Verdum
names.
is now fighting, like, guys... Oh, wait. Go back?
Oh, yeah.
That's what
this
we're...
fight.
All right, let's talk about Anthony Pettis lost to Dustin Poirier.
This was a crazy fight. It ended in an injury, but still, you can't... Like, when a fight ends in an injury, usually people are like, okay, let's run it back.
Right.
We don't really know who won.
I thought Pettis was going to win.
This fight lasted long enough to be like, all right, Poirier won. Because they were fighting almost to the death, these guys.
Right.
So it's like...
Do you think Poirier has reinvented himself?
I think in some ways, yes.
He looks
at the
different.
End of the day, he's still, he's huge. He fights different. He fights a little smarter.
He looks different everywhere.
Yeah, he looks
so
like
maybe he's
version
reinvented,
totally.
And maybe he's got a legitimate run, because I think he's a great fighter.
And he's 2 fights away. He called out Eddie versus Gaethje winner, and after that fight, that's a #1 contender fight. Mm-hmm. But this was a fight to the death. They were both bleeding.
And now he's talking about Alvarez. You know, even though they had that big thing in the ring not too long ago, where he's like, "Don't boo Alvarez." You know, I respect this fighter. And, you know, after 2 people fight, you have these endorphins running and, you know.
But then things change.
And then it's like, you know, you look at the fight. I don't know if that's the case or he's trying to sell a fight with Alvarez.
I think it's a little of both.
But he's saying that, you know, Alvarez gets rewarded for my DQ and his loss to Conor McGregor by going on Ultimate Fighter against Gaethje. And me, I kind of get, you know, stuck in the trenches. But fighting Anthony Pettis is not a trench.
And giving that performance, too.
Yeah, so, but he's calling the guy out, you know, and he wants to fight him. for a rematch. I think it would be a great fight, and I want to see Dustin Poirier do well. I've actually known him before he made it to the UFC from that
The movie.
the movie.
Yeah.
So and I liked him in there because he was the real deal fighter.
Yeah.
I love the way he
savage. He's
yeah.
like a legitimate street.
He kind of
fighter.
like he's trying to find himself as he beat Dos Anjos years ago in that movie.
Who? Which one?
Dustin Poirier.
No, but Dos Anjos. Rafael Dos Anjos.
Rafael.
No way. In
Yeah,
MMA?
he's in that movie.
I don't know.
He fought Rafael Dos Anjos in that movie.
Wasn't Rafael in the UFC? Or maybe you're thinking of
No. It's a documentary movie that was done
with Dustin Poirier.
with Dustin Poirier. One of the fights was with Rafael. He choked him out.
I had no idea.
He's triangled Rafael Dos Anjos in that fight. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so that's where I started liking him. Nobody knew who Rafael was. Nobody knew who he was. It's just I just liked him as a person, as a fighter, the way he trained.
Was that a pro MMA fight?
It was a pro fight on a regional card.
It might have been another Brazilian.
Nah, it was
I feel like Dos Anjos was in the UFC his whole career.
no. It was Dos Anjos. It could have been holy shit, but it looked like Dos Anjos. But if we go back, all I know is when Dos Anjos came to the UFC, I'm like, oh, that's the guy that Poirier beat. But I bet if you look at his Tapology record, or I like to go on what is it, MMA.tv. It gives you a nice, cleaner breakdown of a person. Much easier to see. SureDog is like too many ads and things like that.
What are all these? You think it would be mixedmartialarts.com?
Yeah, that's it. All right, go down. Oh, scroll down. Oh, what's
A
happening?
lot of pop-ups.
No, don't press on it. Don't press on it. It's because you're pressing. Just, do you know how to go down on that? Just,
Yeah, I got it.
yeah, there you go.
He was in the WEC.
Go down, go down.
No, I think it was someone who looked like him.
Really?
Yeah, because Rafael was in the UFC forever, like way before WEC, Poirier.
Wow. Go up a little bit. So really,
Yeah,
wow,
but
the
by
guy
that time he
looked
was in
just like
WEC.
Dos Anjos. Well, I'm glad that I found out the truth.
And then he went into the UFC. I remember he fought Max Holloway
Okay.
and armbarred him.
All right, my mistake. I'm glad I'm not giving out any false information. I thought my memory was that good, but it's not.
But
All
yeah,
right.
this was a crazy card.
Brown destroyed Sanchez with elbows.
Mhm.
Hi-yo. Guida knocks out.
Lozon quick with an uppercut, just rocked him. And then
I just
Arlovski
love
got
Guida.
another win.
He's like one of those characters in a
Yeah.
movie who isn't the main character or even,
He's just one of the
and you
fan
just
favorites.
love him.
Yeah.
I love Clay Guida. Good job, Clay. Sage Northcutt comes back. Good for him. I think he has a future. He just needs to,
Overall, good card.
I wonder why McGee was on the undercard, the undercard.
I don't know. He hasn't fought in a while. I didn't see this fight. I didn't watch the fight past prelims.
I don't know, but still, some cool things were on. Some things, it's one of those cards where you just want to watch it for a few fights,
Yeah.
but not
the main
for all.
card was great.
Yeah, was it great?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you watched all the fights.
Yeah, the main card.
Okay, I didn't, but coming up, what's coming up? What do we got coming up?
Let me show you. It's Verdum versus Tabora.
Who the hell is this guy? Why is Verdum just like fighting all these guys
He's
that
just
nobody's
trying to
ever?
get those wins.
Yeah, he's just
And the
making-
card is weird too.
He hardly
this
even
guy's
fought.
good. Bilal Muhammad versus Tim Means. That's a good fight. I don't know how this is the co-main event.
Okay.
I think it's just because Beck Rawlings is Australian and it's in Australia. But yeah, the only good fights are really the main event.
It's gonna be a lot of Australian guys on the card.
Yeah. They're running this fight back.
Nick Lentz, Will Brooks. Oh, Lentz. He's just. I don't like that guy.
But yeah, Verdum should just walk through this guy. Kind of like, I think it'll be a little tougher than that last fight he had with the short notice, but.
And what's coming up after this? I don't know. I don't know.
Bisping versus Gastelum.
Let's see that card.
This is the one Anderson got caught by USADA.
Oh yeah, what happened with
It was
that?
supposed to happen in China.
What happened with that?
They don't know yet. It's nothing. This guy is fighting.
So you see those two little buttons on the side? That's
Yeah.
what scrolls up and down.
Okay. This guy's coming back, Zabit. He's on that China card.
You mean Caceres? He's a funny dude. Anyway, nothing too interesting. I think Bisping, if he loses here, he
wants to fight one more time. They're going to England in March, and he said, win or lose this fight, that's his last fight.
Look, the picture up here still has him with his belt.
The belt, yeah.
I can't believe that UFC's not seeing stuff like this. You know?
I think it's because it's so recent.
It's not that recent. It should happen overnight.
Yeah.
They're
lazy.
Their guy, whoever's running the IT, should do it overnight. Anyway, what's next after this coming up? There's got to be
Then
something.
it's Aldo Holloway.
All right, let's look at that card. Let's see who they got on that card. But let's see the Ultimate Fighter for now.
I think there's not really too many fights for that
Right.
because they don't have
All right,
it.
who do we got? Overeem Nagano, which is Dana White's new hope for the future,
Yeah.
right? Cejudo Pettis, okay. Alvarez Gaethje. Oh, I thought Alvarez Gaethje are going to be on the Ultimate Fighter for
I
now.
know, me too. People are upset about that because it's not going to be 5 rounds anymore.
This fight got canceled,
Yeah,
and I was really looking forward to that fight.
That would have been a good one.
That would have been a great one. I mean, those are two guys who are awesome future fighters, and you know, it's like it's almost a shame because someone's going to have to take the loss there. But I think with guys like those two, it's just going to be a great fight. No one will lose in a fight like that.
Yeah.
Too bad. What is it? Ali Quinta pulled out?
Yeah.
What happened?
Injury.
Sucks.
This is a pretty good card.
Oliveira Medeiros. That's great. Medeiros is an awesome fighter, and so is Oliveira. I'm interested with that. This is a good card. Let's see who else. All right, not bad, not bad. I think this fight should have been up there. You know.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to put that fight on the main card. The one.
This fight should have been up there, and that fight should have been there. You know.
Yeah, prelim headliner.
But now I think they're just like, oh, they want to put like a female.
Yeah, on the pay-per-view.
Right now they're not there yet, so you know. I don't know, but I like this card. This is when is this card going on?
December 8th, I think.
8th? What do you think?
I think Holloway wins.
Hold on a second. Hold on. All right. What's the next one after that?
December 2nd. It's Swanson Ortega, then Lawler Dos
Go on,
Anjos.
Swanson Ortega. Let me see.
Yeah, we'll break down these fights.
Oh, Ortega's awesome.
Yeah,
Now,
he's really good.
Yeah.
He always wins in the third round by some submission.
Yeah.
Comeback win.
Yeah, who do we got here?
Some good names. Bryant, Knight, Caraway. We'll have breakdowns for these as soon as Nas gets back. Some other people. We'll make some prediction videos.
Where is this being held?
This is in, I think, Cali?
Cali, and they got so many guys that never heard of.
Yeah, Fresno, California.
That's kind of strange. Carmouche, we know. But, Horcher.
That's the guy that fought Habib.
Yeah, he's came from CFFC, and, then he had a motorcycle accident or something.
Yeah.
But he did fine against... I mean, he lit up Habib for a second.
I forgot.
Until he got dominated. Let's see. Yeah. Alcantara is good, Caraway, that's fine. All right. But for a California card, Sacramento, you said?
Fresno.
Oh, Fresno. Okay. For this card, you would think, but it is Fresno, right? Not that big of a...
It's a fight night card, so...
Yeah. Okay.
They're coming out for the main event.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, this is the Marab.
Yes.
Against a tough guy, Frankie Saenz.
Yeah.
Frankie Saenz is good.
This will be a good match. They don't have a picture of him yet.
No.
Until he goes there that week.
Yeah, the week.
They won't have a picture of him at all. So he's and this guy too is probably first time fighting. Let's see. 7-2 versus 11-5. I think Frankie Saenz had a lot of losses recently. His last 3 were losses.
He lost to
but he lost to some
Uriah Faber.
He lost to some tough dudes, and he went the distance with Uriah Faber. What's his background, I wonder?
I don't know too much about him. I think he's a grappler. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
That'll be interesting. All right. I want to see Horcher fight. He's good. But Swanson Ortega is going to be a great fight. But I just think that stylistically, Swanson's a striker, Ortega's a grappler. We're not going to get to see like a brawl or something awesome.
Ortega brawls, though. Ortega's willing. He's not going to...
He's
probably
gonna
going to get lit up. But
Ortega's one of those modern MMA guys who are totally fine being on their back. They play rubber guard.
Exactly. And that's how he was won a lot of his fights.
I think he's a 10th Planet guy, right?
I think he's with the brothers, Henner and...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought he's
He
a
trains
10th
with
Planet guy.
No, he's a Gracie
Okay.
Jiu-Jitsu.
All right. The brothers are intelligent dudes. So... they feel totally comfortable with the jiu-jitsu in any sort of situation. Why not? Listen, we spoke about some intense stuff. Whew. What a last few weeks,
Yeah,
huh?
it's stuff we didn't even get to touch on, but that's we'll get back to every week now.
Yeah, we're getting back to it every week. We got Shane Burgos coming.
Okay.
Also, Randy
Brown?
Randy Brown.
Nice.
Ricky. Randy Brown, and I think we're going to have EJ on again because we've been having some crazy stuff happening
That'd be cool, then.
in this country. So let's get his thoughts. He was technically supposed to come down today, but I guess it's not that something happened. Nothing happened. So, guys, we'll see you next week. I hope you like this show. I mean, we had a great conversation about some really important things.